You're listening to the best of ITW, brought to you by Popguide and WikiLeaf.
The new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell.
On this episode, ITW welcomes part 2 with actor, comedian, advocate, and icon, Tommy Chong.
Yeah.
How long did you guys actually sit in the conversation? Because, like, to have a two-parter, have a two-parter for us, like, that's hard because you spend so much time breaking things down into an episode.
Yeah,
I can't believe he stayed that long.
and he would have stayed longer.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, it was kind of like, I can remember at the end being like, are we just holding this dude up, or does he genuinely want to be here? And at the end, we were like, I think we could have kept going.
I think he was stoked because, I mean, I was genuinely super interested in hearing about his Motown days as a signed Motown musician, you know, and like, but all of us, I mean, both of us, we genuinely wanted to know.
I didn't know about I didn't know about any of that. That was all. Like, I knew he was a musician, and I knew he played in a bit, but I didn't know that he toured with Diana Ross.
Yeah.
That was all. I was like, what the fuck?
Getting your mind blown, right?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to talk to him about that stuff. So it was cool. And even though I do nerd and fanboy out, like, I got to talk to him.
Yeah.
Really, like, it was cool. We broed down. I felt like we all really broed down that day. And he really makes you feel like, I don't know, you could tell he genuinely was having a good time and cared to talk to us.
Yeah.
It was cool.
If you'd ever needed proof that vibe existed,
Yeah.
it would be Tommy Chong, because it's just like that. And that's why he came like the weed crisis. Like, oh, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's just thoughtful the way he talks about his wife, the way he talks about his family, the way he talks about his relationship with Chong, which he got into. Like, he got into the fight even. Like, we got into fucking everything with this dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he didn't shy away from any question.
He never seemed like, because even some guests that are genuinely interested in being there, like, just have so much on their minds, dude. They got a lot of other going on, other important things. Yeah. And I can see when they start to get maybe fidgety or like they feel like they have to go and they want to wrap things up, but he just didn't feel like that at all. He was totally tuned in the whole time.
And asking questions back and forth and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was asking us like, how do you guys feel about music stuff and all that? Well, I guess,
Yeah,
Whoa,
it
Chong.
was really neat. We'll find you and Chong will cross paths someday. I promise you that. We'll get there.
No doubt.
It's such a shame that you weren't there, because that was a big one for all of us. And
you guys would.
I always see him at trade shows and just like hide off in the corner and then think about it. Like, I've seen him post the interview, and I'm like, I just sort of hide off in the corner.
I actually got to do Cheech also at the beginning of the pandemic on a thing. That was pretty neat. So it's nice and neat that I got to. It wasn't nearly as involved as that. It was like maybe 20, 30 minutes. But
Cheech has a museum that he opened in Riverside, where the Voodoo Glow Skulls are from.
Cool.
And he's got a really, really famous Latino art collection. And he opened up a museum, and I don't know, both those guys, Cheech and Chong, are both
wild.
They've given so much to just art.
Yeah.
I'd like that for our next trip, is maybe because it's a culture that I'm not familiar with, like especially living in Venice and stuff like that. But the past couple of days talking with F as we got, I'm like, there's so much that I think we've missed on the cultural side in like East LA. Towns like Downey.
Everywhere. Like we'll have a trip where
I can show you the world.
Exactly.
Shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, Ben and Bubs, now when did you last let your heart decide? A whole new world.
Whole new world.
A new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming. Now you do it.
I'm gonna go as far as to say that was gorgeous.
A bitch is a female dog.
But yeah. I heard you called me a bitch.
I can't wait to do that later.
I would like to have a couple days or a day where you guys come out to California. We just grab you, throw you in the car with a camera or something, put some GoPros on it, and let me drive you around LA, show you shit.
We gotta rent
We'll
a
get
really
up in
good
the
car.
morning, and I'll just take you around to spots.
Yeah, I would love that.
This is where they filmed this in fucking East LA. This is the best part of this beach for this. This is the fucking spot where blah blah. I would love to do that with you guys.
Wow.
That'd be fun.
When did you first get into Cheech and Chong? Like, when did you was it the? Because I remember you saying it was
On
the
the
record.
Dr. Demento radio show was where
Okay.
I first heard him. Yeah, when I was a kid, and I recorded it. He played.
That's right.
He played a Cheech and Chong album on there, and I remember recording it on a blank tape off of.
Did you swap that around with all the
radio.
homies and shit like that?
No, I just had it. I remember.
Oh,
And I would
wow.
just listen to it. I was really young, dude.
Yeah.
Like I was really young, and I just would listen to it, and like I remember thinking, like, "Ooh, this is so nasty." You know, like
yeah.
rad, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. I have a lot of great memories associated with Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
In my head, I've been Cheech for Halloween.
Have you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The red beanie, the suspenders.
Nice.
The whole thing. So, dude, my favorite Cheech is Cheech in the movie Born in East LA. That little convertible VW bug he has, the pink one. Oh, that car is sick. Love that movie.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a great experience, and hopefully we get to do that one again too, or do something with those guys.
Oh wait, and just to go back, sorry.
Yeah, no.
But not to say that I advocate the era when Cheech and Chong weren't making movies together.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think it'd be like.
But I just want to point out that it is a fine motion picture.
Well, and I bet you a lot of it, like. Cheech and Chong is so cartoonish. You know what I mean? He's Born in East LA is a little bit more grounded, a little bit more. And so you probably recognize it, saw a bit more of your culture growing up in that movie itself.
Oh, yeah, well, 100%.
Yeah. You know. No, I don't think it, like, trust these guys, don't try, I love Cheech and Chong together. I'm freaking out. I think people are going to be all like, what the fuck's up with Efren, man?
He supported the fucking Gap. The breakup.
I didn't believe the first 10 minutes of the show where he said how much he loved both of them.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cheech and Chong.
Okay.
A few months back, I went to this, it's called Funk Fest, and it was this festival with all these classic funk bands and new funk bands. It was fucking awesome. And Cheech and Chong were the hosts all night. Like they came out and announced every band and did stand-up.
Nice.
It was
that's
fucking
sick.
awesome. So I actually recently saw Cheech and Chong. It was cool.
That is great.
Yeah.
They we should probably give them a plug. Up in here in Canada, Tommy's got Tommy's Choice or Tommy. It's not Chong's Choice. It's Tommy's Stash or something like that.
Yeah.
Launching in Canada. Anyway, whatever the Canadian version is of Chong's Choice is in Canada. So maybe pick it up if you're a Canadian listener.
Yeah, absolutely.
Support the guy.
Yeah, support them in everything they do. I think those guys are fantastic.
He's a very nice guy. Very
You know?
nice guy. Yeah. That was awesome. There's a wild one. Hope you guys enjoy the ITW Best of ITW, Tommy Chong.
And then I showed him this bit that Sir Pineapple did where you wipe down a car so you can create a car, just out of thin air.
Right.
And just by cleaning it off, clean out the windows,
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, you got a car. And then he opens the door, he gets in, he's in a lowrider. See? And so I showed him that bit. And then I was the Red Freak, hey, Red Freak, want to ride, man? Yeah. And that was history. That was 40 some odd years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And like you say, it's still
And you
Totally relevant.
Yeah.
You said so I had the pleasure of working on an event, not with you, but we sponsored it, the company I was with at the time. And you said at that event, it was a thing at McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, that off the first record, you guys probably wouldn't have had to work again. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Like it did so well. You sold, what was it, 30 million copies? I can't remember the number. It was something fucking wild.
Some crazy numbers. Yeah. If the thing is, back in the day, the record companies owned everything, and that's the way it was, and it was the movie Up in Smoke was the movie. If we had a decent share, there wouldn't have been any more movies.
Yeah.
But thank God, we never, and thank God we still have to work, Wow. Because there's nothing like work. It's so much fun, especially, I got my wife. Well, what happened when Cheech and I broke up, I was out there by myself. And it was okay on stage, but off stage, oh man, I got a beautiful woman wandering around L.A. alone. You know?
Yeah.
It's not going to be long before she finds a friend.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I said, you know, if this is going to work, I've got to have to bring her with me.
Yeah.
And so she was acting at the time, and so I said, how about if I put you in the show? She said, okay. And so she started up just introducing me, and then start doing bits, and then start doing her own bit. And now she does 25, 30 minutes in front, and then in between Cheech and Chong. So
really?
she's a solid comedian now.
That's so cool.
She's so good that
really cool.
that I told her that, you know, she should start thinking about doing solo work, because she's got the chops.
Yeah. Cool.
Because that's all it takes, you know. You just got to do it enough times, you know.
Yeah.
And she's so beautiful, and Cheech, well, we're both like glad we have something to do, and it's so relevant still.
It's
Because so many of our contemporaries, they quit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no more.
It's almost astonishing how relevant it is and how predictive it was.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. A lot of stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's kind of sad about the state of today. Like, and this is off topic again, but like Ice Cube's Predator album.
Very
like,
predictive.
You're like, holy shit! Like, this could be written fucking today. Like,
Yeah.
about the topics and stuff that he's singing about. It's kind of depressing in a lot of ways, but we'll stay off of that shit. You know?
Ice Cube's latest?
No, his like the Ice Cube Predator. It came out. It came out in 1991.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sorry,
it's
sorry.
totally relevant today.
It's still just
much
as
in the
relevant.
same way. Yeah.
Sure. Well, that stuff
Incredible.
never stops, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the learning process.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all we're doing here, you know. I figured that one out. I got my own app, you know, Tommy Chong, and so I get on there and I get high, and then I just ramble.
Oh yeah, you have your own app right now?
Yeah. I just ramble, and I talk. I do maybe a half hour, maybe more. Depends what I feel like.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I get into all sorts of metaphysical stuff.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's
Really?
cool. I got to check that out.
I will
Yeah.
definitely check that out.
yeah, absolutely.
Because I just talk about, you know, how I see things. You
Yeah.
know? And I've been schooled spiritually since I was a kid, because you know, when you grow up in the country, there's no entertainment except church. That's your only place. You know, that's when everything happens. You know, that's your only reason to get dressed up.
Yeah.
Is church. Other than that, you can wear the same raggedy ass clothes all week, but church, you got to get your finest. You're good. And then Sunday school was great because they just taught stories about love and, you know, and being nice to people, and, you know, the nice stories, kid stories.
Yeah.
And so that was the basis of my first conscious memories. And so that set a moral thing for me that I've always followed. And the thing is, if you got a moral code, you can enjoy life so much more. Because when you do slip over to the other side, it's not boring. It's very exciting, because you know, whoa, you know, that you are, you know, and if you don't have that moral code, you don't know when you're having fun.
No, you're absolutely right.
You know,
yeah, sure.
You get bored.
Yeah.
You get bored. This is not fun. You know, like you're schlepping some girl that you know that's all she does. That's not fun.
No.
Yeah.
But nailing some Christian wife.
Oh God.
Now we're into see the meaning. You see? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because other than that, decadence has no value unless you know the opposite.
Right.
See, and that's why there's so many pedophile priests. And so what the Catholic Church really did, they stole Jesus. you know. And they didn't really steal the nice part of Jesus. They stole the worst part of his life, you know.
Yeah.
Like they got pictures of him on a cross and the thorns, you know.
Yeah.
That's not comfortable at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's not the Jesus that I learned, you know, in Sunday school.
Yeah.
Why can't I see the stoked out Jesus?
Yeah.
He's not in pain.
Yeah. You always got him suffering.
What about
suffering.
like kick back, chill, happy Jesus?
It was his body that suffered, but he was cool. And when he said, "I'm coming back," he didn't mean literally, you know.
Right.
You know, it's spiritually.
Yeah.
Spiritually, because spiritually you are immortal. You can live forever because there's no physical reason to disintegrate in a spiritual world. Mm-hmm. Spiritual world is pure energy, and there's been pure energy forever. There's never been a time when there wasn't energy, and that's what the spiritual world is. The physical world, on the other hand, it's a school. It's where we come to learn this stuff. Mm-hmm. And you can't learn hunger unless you live in a spiritual world where you need to eat. You see, you need food, and then if you don't get food, then you're hungry. And so what will you do to eat? Well, you have to do what you have to do, you know. And that's what we're here to learn. And what we're here to learn, and see, and I hate to be a spoiler alert because that's what I've been doing on my app a little bit, you know. So I got to back off a little bit because most, like my family, they don't listen to me because I'm too crazy for them. They go, oh, he's on that kick again, you know. Like I do it on stage sometimes, right. You know. I'll jump into it, you know. But you'll be surprised that I'm not really surprised, but there are people out there that get it. Mm-hmm. You know, just they need it. There's some people out there, they need it. They're ready for something.
It just clicks.
They're ready for, and all of a sudden it just wakes them up. And then they have to find their way backstage to let me know that they understood, you know. Mm-hmm. Because the whole thing, like when I went to prison, it was sad because of the moment is sad when you leave a life and your love and everything else, and you have to be taken away to punitively, like, you know, and it can be sad, it can be all sorts of things. But with me, because I was innocent, I was martyr. I was being into martyrdom. You know, I was being martyred, so it was like an honor. You know, I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of cool. And the first day I was in there, all I did was take pictures with inmates.
Really?
Well, take pictures, man. Yeah, pictures. And so I'm posing pictures. And the clouds, the first night, the clouds were so beautiful. They were like pink over the prison. We're in the desert in Taft. And there were big, fat pink clouds. And I never really noticed them before because my eyes were down here. So I'm looking up there, and they kept saying, Tommy, look down here. I looked down and be looking up. And then I realized how special my prison stay was being, because these are signs that you get, you know, you get signs. And that was I got a ton of the signs. And one of the things we did in prison, I started looking at every...
So you didn't need a squirrel master in prison?
Funny thing, you know what we did? We fed the squirrels, the ground squirrels.
Oh, really?
There were so many. And because the food's so lousy, the prisoners, one of the fun things to do is take your food and feed it to the ground squirrels. Everybody prospered. The hawks were up there, sitting there watching their meals getting fattened, and they're sitting on the light standard watching there, and they get their eye on the big fat one. There was one guy, what would we call? Oh, I forget what we called him, but you could train him to come up your leg to eat the food.
Oh wow!
And he couldn't get in his hole because he got too fat to get back in his hole.
Really?
And so the hawks got him and took him up to the nest on the light tower.
No.
And the bikers, all the biker gangs there, a lot of them were electricians, and so they worked the light tower, and they told us they found what did we call him, Mr. I forget what we call it. Anyway, they found the big fat one up there, in the light tower, and one of the wasn't the biker, it was a prisoner, old prisoner. He goes, "Ain't no way in hell that squirrel climbed up that ladder." See, that was just one moment. That prison was filled with those moments. Wow. I was in a movie, man, that was like unbelievable. I mean, there was one Big John, he was a lawyer with an eating problem. And he wouldn't eat in the mess hall or where everybody else ate. But there was a television room that was on 24 hours, like all night. He would get a suitcase or a couple of bags full of burritos, bags full, and go in there and eat all night.
Really?
Eat one after another.
That's bizarre.
Eat all night.
That was like me last night.
Oh, yeah.
You did that?
No,
we went pretty hard.
We had a lot of. We did about 5 interviews yesterday, and then we didn't eat much, and so we went out for late night burritos, and I had 2 just. 2. It was a.
We had
a lot of heartburn over there.
We had a private chef.
Oh wow.
Woo. Yeah, we through the hierarchy. I was part of it, and what it was he's a golf caddy. He's out now. He's a golf caddy, and he got busted for it was a bullshit bust like mine. He was a user, and the dealer that he bought it from got busted, and they told her that if you don't want to do 20 years, give us a name. And so she gave him Eric's name, and Eric was just a user. So he fought it, and he lost, and they gave him 14 years.
Jesus.
For just using.
What?
But the good news was that he got a couple of degrees. He's smart. He went to school. Got a couple of degrees in gardening. For golf courses, and like he's so qualified anyway. And so he had a garden there, and all the food that was grown in the garden was given to the food bank, not the prisoners, except for what his own personal use. And so if you were in the car, as we called a group of us, then you got to eat that fresh garden.
Oh, nice.
Every night. We had a gourmet meal every night.
Wow.
And like he made me a burrito that was that big around, and I thought I'd just take my half and then pass it to the like you do.
Yeah.
No, that's yours, dude.
Wow.
That's yours. And I said, how can I eat? I ate every bit of it, man. Peppers, he had these peppers that he grew. It was so good. The food was incredible. Cooked. And the only thing, the only rule we had was that if you were the new guy, you had to wash the dishes. But he cooked. He'd spend 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes cooking every day. And that was the kind of, and then he had his own, cubicle way in the back. It was like a dormitory.
Right.
And we had cubicles, and I had waterfront property, which I liked because I'm an old guy, and they're close to the bathroom. And that's what they call.
Great.
That's called waterfront.
Did you say something maybe at that event that you roomed with like a Bernie Madoff type or something like that?
No, it was Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
Yeah, he was my cellie. Well, they put celebrities in together themselves with each other. And so I had Jordan Belfort as my.
Was he cool?
It was very cool, very cool. We're still friends.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I was writing a book, and so he said, "What are you doing?" He was play tennis every day, and he come in and said, "What you up to?" And I said, "Still writing my book." He said, "I'm going to write a book." So he started writing. He wrote a few pages, and he handed it to me. He said, "What do you think of this?" And I read it. And what he did, he was a thief, basically. Yeah. So he stole Tom Wolfe, Bonfires of the Vanities.
Yeah.
He almost stole the whole
premise?
The writing style.
Wow.
So he wrote it down, and I looked at it, and I said, "You haven't written shit, man." Handed it back to him. I said,
Dang.
"That ain't nothing." And so he got a little humble. He goes, so what should I write? And I says, write the stories that you've been telling me every night. That's what you write. Write what you know. You know, don't copy. Write from your soul, from your heart. I said, you know this shit, so that's what you write. And that was all I told him. I give him the most of rule. Like, if you're going to get high, you're not just going to get a little high. You're going to get so high that everybody's going to come to see that movie because he can't believe anybody got that high.
Yeah.
But he actually did.
Right.
And so if you're going to buy a boat, make it the biggest boat. You know what I mean? It's got to be the biggest. It's got to be the best if you're going to write about it. And he followed that rule. And next thing you know, he's up in front of my house peeping and swearing because we weren't allowed to communicate because we were both on probation. He goes, hey, I sold the book to Martin Scorsese. We're making a movie. Yeah.
He yelled it from the street? Really?
He's yelling it to me, you know, up in front of my house, yelling. I'm on the balcony. He goes, hey, congratulations.
No fucking way, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Then I got a ton of interviews. People ask me, did you help Jordan Belfort? What's he like? All that. Yeah. He got kicked out of our food gang because he wouldn't wash the dishes.
Really?
You know, he'd hire someone to wash the dishes.
No way.
And that.
Well, I guess, yeah. Wait.
It seems pretty par for the course, but
exactly.
Yeah. So, but no, we're still friends. I mean, he's got his life, you know, and our lives. Every once in a while, his buddy visiting him, you know, would call Shelby and say, do you want to fly up in our private plane to Taft, you know? And Shelby, no. She said, no, she'll drive up there. But, yeah, it was, prison turned out to be, for me, a religious, I turned it into a religious retreat, because I ended up in the native grounds. Mm-hmm. They have Indian grounds there, where they had a sweat lodge. Mm-hmm. And a little sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And the birds and the bees, all the animals knew it was a sanctuary because there'd be snakes and all sorts of wild animals come and just hang out.
Was that before, was prison before or after 70 show?
During.
Right
in the middle. They were coming into we had finished 4th season, we're coming into 5th season. And they wanted to sign me in, and I told my agent, I said, I want more money, you know. This ain't shit, you know, because they're really featuring me a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the 70 show said no.
Really?
Yeah. So they wrote me out of the show, and then I went to jail.
Yeah.
And then I got out of jail, and they wrote me back in the show.
Well, that's smart of you. Like that was the hook. I remember amongst my friends, like that you were in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's what probably got the older like stoners kind of to watch it as well, you know?
Oh yeah. It was and it was my character, you know. Yeah. You know, I kept my character. I mean, that was the only thing. You know, I talk about it on stage, you know, that when they sent me the little marijuana circle, I realized I could do this show without compromising my integrity. Digging Cheech, you know. Because he's talking about how many movies he's been in. Everything else. I've been in one, the 70 show. So I got Cheech on that one. But no, the 70 show was great. And then it ended nice. And that whole era was very special.
Yeah.
Again, you know, because we were selling a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
When you think of the weed, a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
And that's why bars are literally closing. You know, liquor stores are closing.
Yeah.
You look at the empty buildings, fitness centers, karate studios, health.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, health. People realizing that, hey, if you're going to spend your money or put something in your body, make sure it's going to do you some good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and that's what's with the pot, you know. And people ask me all the time, you know, because I had 2 serious bouts with cancer.
Yeah.
You know, I had prostate and then I had rectal, and I'm not saying that pot necessarily cured But what it did, it gave me the state of mind that I need to be in.
And to enable yourself to heal.
Enable the body's immune system. See, when the immune system gets overloaded, it can't function. It won't function. And when you eat wrong, it overloads the immune system.
Right.
When you treat your body with a lot of stress, it overloads the immune system. That's why you get little signs, you get little colds, you get, coughs, you get little things, headaches, stuff like that. But if you combine, a healthy diet, a lot of sleep. That's one thing in prison, man. Oh, I slept like a baby there.
It's so funny that you make prison sound so great.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I can't wait to go to prison.
You're the first person out of. I swear I don't have many friends that have been in, but out of all the friends I have that have been in, the first one to say, "Man, the food was great. Yeah. We had a great food." It's just blowing my mind right now.
I know. Well, I met all these great people, and then they treated me. Everybody, the warden, everybody. When they tried to catch us, like in the garden, they do a surprise visit. And when they did a surprise visit in a sweat lodge. Now, when you're in a sweat lodge, you're butt naked except for your shorts. Yeah. And you're sweating, there's rocks heated there. There's nothing can go on. And so one time, just to show off, they, all right, everybody out. And so we got out. And what's your name? And where do your name and serial, almost like that. And so we're all, we're spiritual. We're loving everything and everybody, including the guards.
Yeah.
And so, sure, my name's Tommy and Chong, and this is my number, and anything? Would you like to join us? I got so they got so used to me that I was making the head of the gardening guy, Mr. Ono was his name, Japanese guy. And he can get strict with the guys, if they're doing something wrong, but for the most part, he liked me and I liked him. And so he found this big hunk of clay when they're digging the gardens, this big pure clay. So he took it over and I had a little station out in the middle of the garden, a little desk and a little workbench. And so he brought the clay over there. And so I started making bongs.
What? Really?
Clay bongs. And I made a couple. They look pretty nice. Look like little sake glasses,
sure.
Sake bottles.
Yeah.
So I made the bongs. I didn't put any stems or anything in there, so I didn't want to get too. But that's what I had in mind. But I wanted to fire them up, and I heard that from the grapevine they said that there was a kiln in the warehouse, but the warden had ordered it to be stored instead of used. Because the people that ordered the kiln, they got, they left, and so there was no one there. And so they turned the pottery room into a guitar room, where all the guitars players were there, yeah, and like a music room. And so, but I heard about that kiln, so I wanted to meet the warden, and I heard, once you get in there, you know what's going on because the prisoners run the whole place. Mm-hmm. And so the guy told me, well, the warden comes down and gets his car gassed every other day anyway. And so I knew he was down there, so I went down to meet him. And I introduced myself to him, and he literally wiped his hand out to shake my hand. He goes, you're the famous one. Yes, how are you? And he was like a fan. It was like,
wow.
And because his job was with the main prison, and I was in a camp in the back. And so his job was like really gnarly because the main prison had, all the illegals that were sneaking in and, hardcore. And the camp was just like old guys and lawyers and, and white collar people. And so when he met me, he was quite impressed because I was such a famous guy, and he shakes my hand. And so I thought, oh, this is going to be good. So I asked him about the kiln, and he gave me the old warden. Oh, we'll look into it.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to get it, not away. So what I did, I said, I realized we build bonfires on the Indian grounds, to heat up the stones, and they had a little oven where they boil tea, make toast. And so I took that little area there and I built a kiln around it because I had all the clay and the sand was clay. You mix it with water and grass, and you got
you made your own kiln.
Water. So I literally made a kiln.
So you could make bongs in prison.
I could make a bong in prison. Wow. But the thing is, you had to fire it up. That was the only thing. You had to get the fire hot enough. And so I found railroad ties. And so we hauled the railroad.
Where were you finding all this?
Just around the prison. Just because when you got a place like that, there's a lot of construction stuff, stuck here, stuck there. There was a metal shop, because it's a city. And so they got to keep the metal shop going. They got to fix this and that and everything else. And so they have stock. They have a tool area where you get your tools. You can check out tools. I had saws. I had hammers. I had anything I wanted. Because I knew the guy. They all knew me. And so I had everything, and the shovels and wheelbarrows. And so I made a kiln, mixed the adobe. It was an adobe kiln. It was nice
amazing.
Looking. It was nice looking. It had the chimney and everything. And then I had to figure out how to fire it. And so they told me that the prison goes like half staff on the weekends, especially Sunday. There's hardly anybody there, just skeleton staff. And they don't look out the window. They're just in their area. And so I had the Indian grounds was facing away from the prison. So I fired up the kiln Friday night, and it went to Sunday. The fire went to Sunday. And at night it was glowing. It was beautiful.
Wow.
It was glowing. But none of the guards looked out. And if they looked out, so what? Yeah, it was just a kiln.
No.
And I had my pots in there, and I fired them up, but couldn't get it hot enough. So, but it was fun building the kiln. And then the warden and everybody, not the warden, but the camp supervisor, he'd stand a distance from me because he didn't. he wanted to hate me, but there was no reason to. And so they had a Christmas show, and they wanted me to perform. And I thought about it. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. For a couple of reasons. Number one, there's kids that wanted to perform, and that's their show.
Yeah.
There was no reason for me to perform. If someone was there, the press was there, or something like that, I would have. But to perform for a warden that's sitting there waiting for you to say something wrong or something bad, or give you an idea to put you in the hole, be subversive, any of that, Or, and with me, I probably would have told him to go fuck himself or something. Something, I couldn't trust myself. Right. And so I just never did the Christmas show. But he came in and he put his hat over his eyes like he's going to disappear. He put his hat over his eyes and sat in the back. Every con in the joint looking at him. Hey, look at this idiot.
What the fuck?
No, you did all your time in Taft?
In Taft, yeah.
It's funny, you're probably the only human being I've ever heard or ever will hear say, they invited me in their private plane to Taft. You know what I mean? I have two cousins from Taft, man. I know all about Taft.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
It's
outside of Bakersfield. I don't know if you know about Bakersfield, but it's outside of it. You know what I mean? I don't have to tell you, but yeah.
Oh, there's some
it's
great
rough.
stories.
That's a real town.
Because it was originally a woman's prison. And so, but they couldn't get enough women, and so they needed this camp And so they just transported people to the camp. But the camp was supposed to be for women, and the hardcore is for hardcore people.
Maybe we need women to step it up with crime a little bit.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have these problems. You know,
Come
come
on,
on,
let's go.
ladies. I mean, you got to do your part too. It can't be us holding it down for crime alone.
That's right. You guys got to get on your job.
Yeah.
And so the camp was originally built for women, so you had doors on the stalls, the shower stalls, and the shitters. They all had doors. In most prisons, they don't.
No way. Yeah, because you could hide.
This had doors. The shower, we had our own water tank, so we could take unlimited showers.
Wow.
You could go 45 minutes if you wanted, an hour. You could stay in the shower, unlimited water.
What?
And yeah, and
The most unique prison
and one
ever.
of the dorms had a competition going. The cleanest dorm got to go to the mess hall first, or some little thing, and you got popcorn and soda pop, given to you. And so these little perks, when you're there, doing time, it means something. And so they would literally hose down the bathrooms. So the bathrooms were immaculate. Everything was immaculate, super clean. Because that's all they had to do. Just hose it down and clean up.
There's no conflict really going on, right? It was just
none, because you don't want to mess up there. You mess up there, you end up in the hardcore prisons, and that
Let's
you don't
keep
want
it clean here, guys.
Yeah,
Right?
so you want
Keep it trouble free.
And so when they first opened the prison, they like most governments and that, they never had anything planned. And so the prisoners themselves, they took over everything in the beginning. And the first thing they did, they all got the best cells that they could get, overlooking, with views and that. And then the second thing they did was order barbecue pits for outside the dorms, so they could barbecue their food. And the third thing they did was order the food, because nothing was ordered. And so they had to put all this order in. And so they got all these things. That's where the kiln came from, because they obviously ordered the kiln too. And so the prisoners were, and they used to have weekend excursions, because of the way they counted, because it was a dorm, and the highest bunk there was a little, like a 6-foot brick wall, but the top bunk was level for the top. And so someone could literally follow, be counted in one room, jump over, run down, jump on another bed, and get counted again. And so, in other words, they could fix the count so that prisoners could leave for the weekend. And so they would leave for the weekend, meet their people, in a motel or on the road, and they get picked up, and they go for their weekend excursion, come back, and then sneak back into the prison. And they did that for a couple of years, and then they found out about it, Right. And then it got too crazy, One kid, he was retarded, and he was from Baldwin Hills kind of thing, that area, and he didn't know why he was in there. He was waiting for his grandma to come and pick him up, and so one night he went walking, and he saw the lights of Bakersfield. So he went walking toward the lights, and there was a big viaduct in between, big water viaduct, and so they don't know how he did it, but he got across, he swam across or something, and he had his shoes around his neck, and the highway patrol picked him up hitchhiking with the shoes around his neck and that. And they said, "Where are you going, son?" He said, "I'm going to go to my grandma's." "Well, where's your grandma?" "Well, she's in L.A." "Oh, well, we can drive you up to the Grapevine."
No, they did not.
"We'll drive you up to the Grapevine. You can catch a bus there." And so they drove him up to the Grapevine, let him off, come back, because they didn't know he was gone. See? And so then when they come back, then they did the count. They found out he's missing.
We gave that guy a ride.
Yeah, so they got on the thing and they went up to the Grapevine, and he was still waiting for the bus.
That's right out of a movie.
That is absolutely out of a movie.
That's one story. There's zillions of them.
That's insane.
Like that.
Wow.
Like that. Oh, it was, you talk about an incredible experience. I was talking to, like, they had a pool room there, and in the entrance to the pool room was a nice sound, it was a nice echoey sound, perfect sound studio, you know? And so I would take my guitar and I'd sit in that entrance and play guitar and sing, and then I had another blind gypsy named Steve, who was an Elvis Presley impersonator as well, a blind guy, but he was a gypsy. He was in there for doing gypsy stuff.
Right.
And he would sing with me. And then there was one guy who used to stand and watch me all the time, watch us all the time. And then one day he talked to me and he told me a story. He was a ranger from Vietnam. And his job was to go behind the lines and kill as many Viet Cong as he could. Oof. And then he'd cut off their ear and then make a necklace of it, and wear the necklace with the ears on it. And so he got caught by the Viet Cong, and the necklaces saved his life because they didn't want to kill him right away. They wanted this guy to suffer. And so they put him in that prison, where it's in the water. And
I've seen Rambo.
Yeah. They put him in that prison, but he escaped, and he got away, and he got back to the lines. Then he got in trouble, and he ended up. I think he got in trouble. He was smuggling pot from Thailand.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but anyway, Taft. They used to do a skydiving exhibition.
Yeah.
Right by the prison, and you could look up. We had entertainment every day.
Wow.
Some kind of entertainment.
That area is interesting. That's where there was some internment camps in that area. They no longer
the
stand.
Japanese, yeah.
They no longer stand. They tore them down, which is
yeah
tragedy. There is also Bakersfield right there, the Buck Owens Theater.
Yeah.
A lot of famous places. Buck Owens is a great guitarist.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might be familiar with. Yeah.
I
mean,
I'm going to see you in the movies. I'm going to make a big star out of you. Yeah.
Yep. And then, what was it? American Graffiti's Bakersfield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or based off Bakersfield. So there's a lot of history in that little area. One stoplight in Taft.
Yeah. The Taft, man. It was, the prison was their, savior. That give everybody work there.
It was the industry of the town, and that and oil.
Yeah, the whole area is very interesting. The oil was the oil. That's where they discovered oil. And back in the day, they didn't have any way to capture it. They would find the oil, it would explode, and then it would just fall on the ground. And so what they did, they dug trenches. Then they dug a lake. And then all the oil went into the lake. And then they would scoop it up barrels, put it in barrels and scoop it up. And then they would ship the barrels to L.A. and then wherever, to the refineries. Mm-hmm. And so what they did, that's where the prison's built on where that lake used to be. So it's a toxic, cancerous place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
that's nuts.
It's been well documented, but the way you got there in the first place was a loophole through sending bongs over a state line that wasn't supposed to have bongs or something like that. Right?
No, really what it was there's a paraphernalia law that was written by Joe Biden.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, and it was on the war on drugs during that era, and they wanted to close all the loopholes so they could arrest you for paraphernalia, drug paraphernalia. Mm-hmm. And what our thing was that when they tried to bust us, they had to entrap us because we had a rule at the bong company that we wouldn't ship to Pennsylvania because we're the home of the DEA. Mm-hmm. And so I feel they embedded one of their agents into our company, and then he shipped it.
Wow.
To
Wow.
A full
because
sting.
we had there was a turnover like any company. You have turnovers, in the mailroom. And that's the way I feel it happened. Because the evidence against me, they had taped people, it was the cops taping our guys saying, we can't send the bongs there. I'm sorry, sir. You're on a no send list. Nothing we can do about it. And so they came to our company personally, and see we're cool. You can send it to us. And anyway, it got sent, and we violated the mails, going through the mails, and that's why it made it federal.
Man.
And it was very chicken shit, And I could have beat it, but I would have paid a price,
Right.
They would have went after my son, who really was the company CEO, and they would have went after my wife, who signed the check to get the company going. Mm-hmm. And anyway, it was my destiny, Mm-hmm. It was all my life. I've been around people that just got out of jail. I would meet them, and they would have nowhere to stay, and so they'd come home with me. And my mom was very cool, my dad was cool, and the ex-prisoners made the best tenants because they cleaned up after themselves.
Right.
They were sober. They pay their rent. They were the best people because they were already trained.
Yeah.
Right.
And didn't want to go back.
Yeah. Well, some did. Most didn't. A lot of them did want to go back. Little French guy stayed with me for a while, little Frenchie. And he used to tell me about the prison show, the Christmas show, and glowing details because he was a tap dancer. And when I was going to school at the time, I was in high school. And so I'd be invited to a party. And so I'd say, Frenchie, want to come? He, oh, yeah, okay. And so I'd phone the girl and say, would you like some entertainment at your party? And, oh, yeah, okay. And so he'd bring his little tape recorder or a little record player like that and put on his tap record and tap down the stairs and do a little tap dance.
No way.
Everybody be clapping. Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
But he went back to jail. Because I guess he was gay or bi because... his M.O. was to dress up as a woman and rob banks. so around Christmas time, just before the Christmas show, dressed up like a woman, robbed a bank, come home, I wasn't living there then, came home, give my mother the rent of the money, and then the cops got him back to jail.
At least you got that rent first. Wow.
Yeah, that was just one. There was a couple. Another guy, Erwin McCann. Was he the first? I think he was the first guy. Yeah, I was young. I was barely I was still in grade 9, I think, when I met Erwin. But he gave me a tattoo here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Homemade tattoo.
Yeah.
And so I was in a radio station somewhere, and some biker, he looks at that tattoo, he goes, that's a white supremacy tattoo.
No. Oh, wow.
He was a white supremacist that gave me the tattoo.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I had no idea. I was 15 years old.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Did you ever get any shit for it? Is that the only time it's ever?
No, it was like, oh, by the way, that's a white supremacy tattoo.
Yeah, wow.
No.
Do you still play at home and stuff like that? Do you still play music much?
Oh, yeah, we're on the road, too. We play.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're playing on the road.
Cheech and I, yeah. We got a whole show.
Well, you guys are doing your songs live.
Yeah, we do a show.
That's cool.
We got a little medley time in our show, and then I do Blind Melon Chillin' still. And
Do you write on the road at all? Write any music on the road?
yeah,
Sit in
once in
a
a
hotel
while.
or something?
Writing it's a chore.
Yeah.
It's a chore. We got to have a reason to, and then
Yeah.
once you get a reason, I'm up for it. My son, youngest son, he got a degree in music in Boulder, but I'm sending him back to get into composing.
Amazing.
Yeah, because he's my last hope. And he needs a job, and so I'm going to send his ass back to school and get a degree in composing.
Wow.
Because then I'll be able to put music to my words. You know, I'm more of a poet than a songster. You know.
Huh.
You know, I can. You know, get it out if I have to. Like we do a couple of my songs on the show now. Mm-hmm. You know, there's one called "Get It Legal," and then it's legal.
Yeah.
And so we changed the words to "We Got It Legal."
That's great.
You guys certainly played a huge part in it. Do you still smoke every day? Or do you?
Yeah. Well, on my app.
Yeah.
When I go on my app, I usually just light up.
So we can just hang out with you on the app.
I got a lot of weed on my desk, and then I'll pick out a little bit of weed, and I got a couple. And I make pipes, like I said.
Yeah.
But I can't sell them yet because it's still, you know, it's still illegal for me because
you're on
you know, I just, you know, they let me out, but I signed a thing saying that that, you know, I was guilty of making bongs, and so I'm making bongs, but I'm gonna probably give them away on my app. I was thinking about that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That'd be cool.
I'll give them away, you know, for people to subscribe.
And who's not going to want to? Yeah, people. I'll subscribe today.
What kind of pipes are you making?
I'm going to subscribe anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to subscribe too. What kind of pipes are you making?
Well, I make these. These are called Nada pipes.
What?
This is out of a mastodon tusk,
Really?
which is ivory,
Yeah.
but it's 11 million years old. So
Right.
we're not
far
hurting
different
anybody.
than
Yeah.
exactly.
I found a chunk in Anchorage, Alaska. In fact, they got a big tusk up there that I'm going to eventually go up there and buy. And then I make kombucha bottles, bongs out of kombucha bottles.
How interesting.
Because I love the
recycling
bottle.
Materials.
I love the bottle. And then I realized, a friend of mine one time we needed a pipe, so we went to Home Depot, and we got fixtures, gas fixtures, and hoses, and plastic hoses, and everything. And next thing you know, we had a pipe. And so I used the same theory, and I used gas fixtures for the bowl, and then I either use like a stopper that goes underneath the tables, you know, those rubber stoppers that keep it from scratching the floor. Then what I do, I turn them over and I put a hole in and put the bowl in there and the plastic tubing on the bowl, and then another hole for the tube, and it sits on top, and you got a bong. And I'm going to decorate it. My dad always had a thing called One of These Days. In fact, I'm going to call my production company One of These Days. Because that's the way I am too. I got that from him too. One of these days, son, we're gonna do stuff.
Got list of projects.
What's the app called?
Just Tommy Chong.
The Tommy Chong app.
Yeah. I'll show it to you.
That's available on everything.
Let's download it.
I think it's.
Everybody listening, get out your phones. Download Tommy Chong.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
We're gonna do it right here, right now.
Yeah, see if I can. Let's see, I can't get on. Oh, maybe I can.
I got it right here. I am.
See how I put it on.
I'm installing the Tommy Chong app as we speak.
Oh, okay.
Pretty cool.
I'm warming up now. It may take. Oh, now I'm live. Okay, Tommy Chong is live now.
Oh, so you.
Whoa!
What's up? Hi. On the Tommy Chong app.
What's up? This is crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, who are you guys?
Hi, I'm Ephraim, and this is Ben.
Yeah, we are the Get Into the Weeds podcast. Follow us at Get Into the Weeds on Instagram and everything, really. Yeah, www.getintotheweeds.com.
We're on Tommy Chong's app.
Yeah.
well,
We're on the app.
Hey, look at them all. Look at them all. They're all
real
my
life.
people. Rhonda, Rory.
Hey, Ron and Rory.
You guys got sound? because that's a big problem. Sometimes we don't have sound, and they'll tell me in a minute. Do we have sound yet?
Well, we have sound in that podcast. I don't know if you do the
So we'll see if this got done.
Wow.
Oh yes, we can hear your friends. Cool. Hello.
How did that happen?
They're all saying hello. Yes, we hear you, Sandy Bomar, Deanna Guerrero. Yeah, this is my app.
What's that?
This is totally.
Now these guys are Canadians.
Okay.
I'm Canadian.
Here's a Canadian right here.
And he's
Californian. Mexican.
Yeah, I'm a Mexican. Yeah. And we're a couple of
Big fan of your country. Been there many times. I love Canada.
Well, this is all over. These are I get guys from Thailand.
Oh, cool.
Australia, everybody.
Australia.
They come on there.
I just
they're
came
my
back.
friends. And what I do, I kind of trip off, smoke, like I say, smoke up the local bud, and then we talk about, or I talk about what's going on, what's on my mind, and everything.
That's cool. I'm going to be tuning into that.
Okay, listen, I'm going to sign off because I got to sign this one off. And then I'll get back on later
See you
on
guys
today.
later.
yes.
Bye, guys.
GetIntoTheWeeds.com. Sorry for the selfless plug. Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
Whoa! Holy moly! That just happened.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's phenomenal.
So Chong's Choice is killing it. We should get wrapping this up. I don't want to take up more of your time. We've already way more than
We could talk to you forever.
You've been more than generous.
Dude.
Yeah.
We could seriously talk to you all night.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, usually I go until someone drags me out of the place, and it's usually my son.
Yeah. We invited Paris to come on too because we thought it would be a great story hearing him. So maybe we'll have to have him on next time.
Well, he's a little shy,
Is he?
but he's got stuff to do. No, he found out, that it's tough to follow me.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because I got too many stories and too many things. But it's been fun, man. I really enjoy this.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
I gotta say I'm nerding out because I first heard you on the Dr. Demento radio show.
Sure.
Mamacita, donde está Santa Claus? The vato with the bony knees. He's coming down the street with no shoes on his feet. Dude, all those bits from Dr. Demento, and from then on, it was over. It was just so...
Help me, man. I'm writing a song. Help me, man. I'm writing a song about Christmas.
I remember recording that off of Dr. Demento, and it changed my life, man. And here I am sitting with you.
Did you know that was a one take?
Really?
Yeah.
God.
One take.
All my bandmates they're gonna be so jealous when I tell them
when we had to perform it. This show now is the first time that we did anything from the records, because we always had a live show.
Yeah.
And then we'd had a record show, and so we never bothered. We tried once in a while, like we'd get a hit with Sister Mary Elephant. We had Sister for a while. Blind Melon Children, he's growing strong. Cheech didn't recognize Blind when he came back after being gone 20 years.
Right.
Because Blind never used to speak. He was so drunk he could only he could only be funny, and so I would kill but not talk, not sing or nothing, and just like I'd pretend that, I lose my harmonica and I go there. And it was so funny. And so when Cheech got back, he was expecting that Blind, but he had been gone for so long that Blind got sober. Blind been in rehab.
Oh, wow.
Blind became a pretty solid guitar player and songwriter. And so he's evolved. Blind.
Yeah, lock and change in 20 years.
The new
right?
Blind.
Yeah, he's sober. And now I do a bit like the first bit I do, like Blind. I sing this old blues. I'm Blind Melon Chillin', used to drink 4 quarts of whiskey every day. Then I repeat that song, and then I go. Then I start pissing blood in the morning, so I stop that shit right away. Yes. Now all I do is smoke my reefer and get a high as a motherfucker every day. and then I play some blues. And I kick ass, because I got an audience.
Right.
And they're ready. And so when you hit them with that, then now all of a sudden I am Blind Melon Chitlin, the singer.
Wow.
And, oh, man. The other night, my wife was sick. She couldn't make the gig. And so Cheech and I took over, and it was like old times, man. Blind was out there a long time because he had to be. And I just went into a whole nother world. And it mesmerized Cheech for sure, because he's sitting there. Because when you do that, well, when you're playing music, and you get in that zone, yeah, there's no other place like it.
Absolutely.
And you want to stay there as long as
You're
you
living
can,
in it, man.
but not too long. You want to stay there just as long as you can do it, and then boom.
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
I exist 23 hours a day for the 1 hour. Every night, right?
Yeah.
Every time when you're on the road. It's just like, and you're in that hour, you're just in it.
Yeah.
And don't let me go, I gotta go. But that's why it's so good though, because you only get that one.
And it's such a release.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
Hey, thank
Tommy
you.
Chong.
Mind blowing.
This has been thank you so much for telling us how you got into the weeds, man.
Yeah.
Wow, fuck. This has been a crazy experience. Wow.
This episode was presented by Pot Guide and WikiLeaf. Please follow ITW on Twitter and Instagram at GetIntoTheWeeds. You can follow Ben Rispin at Ben Rispin. You can follow Ephraim Martinez Schulz at F by Stereo. And me, Bubba Nicholson at Bubba Nicholson. ITW's theme music was written by Jacob Bergsma of My Son the Hurricane. Visit them at www.msthofficial.com. Special thanks to our friends at Puff Digital, Program Skate and Sound, and the Slide Bar in Fullerton, Orange County. Sound engineering provided by Roman Marconi at Halo Studios Hamilton. ITW was created by Ben Rispin and is produced by Master Volume.